I didn't see Spectre right away. My brain broke. For some reason, I didn't see your hero. The glance value.
You're bad now. Go on, ban what basher you don't want to face, mate. It's easy.
It's in the bag.
Hold on a second.
It's in the bag.
Alright, so what's our lane? Centaur. Centaur Ogre or Centaur Warlock? Starting items are okay.
My friends, this one is in the
This lane is kind of hard because both the heroes that you're laning against have insane base damage. Like, you have 57. This guy is 68. This guy is 75. Like, I think your items are okay, but I think it's also really hard for, It's really hard to contest creeps when you have this little, like, big of a damage discrepancy, we'll say it that way, right? You're 10 damage lower than the core, and you're 20 damage lower than the support. Which means, in order to get creeps in this lane, you're going to have to be very good at manipulating creep aggro. Also, contesting this rune against their dual lane is very scary. Let's speed it up a bit. Yeah, this trading, you can't do this. Like, honestly, you shouldn't even be here, because if you anticipate the lane ahead of time, you also have to consider how strong are we at level 1 versus their lane, and you can't really ever play against these guys at level 1, right? Even if this guy has, like, Bloodlust or whatever, you're still going to get your ass beat here. You should just be here. Like, if you recognize the 3 and the 4 are going to be in this area, and you're like a Spectre type hero, or like Enigma is another really good example of a crappy level 1 hero, you don't contest, right? You sit here. Plus your team's all up on this side, so I probably would never be standing in this area. I'd just be waiting for the creeps to connect here. The other thing you can do, if you want to Giga Brain it, since you know that this lane is going to be tough, this is a tech that you can do against really, really hard lanes. You can block your own wave so much that it will make it so that their first creep wave is under the tower. And what will happen is your wave will push out, and then you'll have an opportunity to get a full wave under your own tower. And yes, you might miss a couple of the creeps, but the point is it's going to be really hard for them to see us, and it's going to be really hard for them to adequately contest you when you're that close to the T1. So what you push the wave out, the camp spawn. Hopefully your support gets an immediate pull because of this, and you can kind of equalize how bad the first 2 levels are going to be by getting extra EXP on the support, getting the pull back, so the wave goes up 1 wave, and then it goes back 1 wave. You see what I mean? So, like, you're basically going to rubber band the lane in a way that's going to give you 2 free waves out of 3 instead of 0 free waves.
The battle begins.
Because the first wave will be under your tower. Second wave will go up, then it will bounce back, and then you will have another wave.
My pet thanks you.
Because of the pull. If he doesn't get a pull off, then the wave's not going to come back. But yeah, if you Giga block it, see how this one's actually almost in tower range already? If you Giga block, it'll just all be under the tower, and then you hit the creeps, and then it's fine. We should also always be ready to dagger for that range creep. When he's setting up for deny, you want to be staring at that range creep the whole time. Like, you don't want to let him get that one for free. Right here, we just want to be clicking the centaur and pulling the wave back. It's always going to feel really bad just raw dogging a CS. And what I mean by that is, like, you're walking up to a hero that has 20 more base damage than you and a hero that has 10 more base damage than you to try to just naturally contest a creep. In lanes where you have an enormous damage discrepancy or disadvantage, you have to aggro the creeps. You have to walk up, click the centaur, pull your wave backwards, and then use that momentum on the creep to fuck up his last hitting. So maybe he hits it too early, or he doesn't hit it at all because he's too far away, and then you hit it at the right time and get the CS. If you just walk up like that and the wave is not being manipulated at all, the chances of you getting the CS goes down exponentially, right? The other thing is that if you do it well and you right click on the guy and you pull it back, you can pull it back so far that it'll start hitting your ranged creeps. And since ranged creeps are the most important creeps in the lane, if your ranged creeps get in deny range and they're not being contested, you can just start hitting them, you know, below 50%. You start hitting them to get them lower faster so that they have to choose between, hey, do I get a melee creep or do I get a range creep? If they don't walk to you, you get a free range deny, right? Like, he probably gets both of these because he's a centaur, right? But if you're pulling the creeps backwards, getting them in deny range before they get this close to the T1, and there's also some of your own creeps alive during this time, it's going to be a lot harder for him to walk up and just get the CS, you know? Like, will he still get it? Maybe. But it's a much better shot at avoiding him getting the creep if you do that. Like, honestly, even considering all that, your CS is against this lane is honestly fine. We should never contest that range, by the way. The fact that you didn't just get stomped there and eat a full creep wave is insane to me. Like, look at this situation. You have a full wave about to hit you, right? This guy is behind you. If this guy hadn't just thrown an ignite on this lich, you are actually dead here. Like, this guy being this far away from you and this far behind, like, yes, he's out of mana now. He uses ignite in a silly way. But better players just kill you. This range creep can never be contested. You need to be very aware of how many creeps are stacking up against you and how many of yours are left, because range creeps die fast. And this guy has a stun. If he wanted to right now, when this range creep connects with that auto, he stomps, he starts hitting you, this guy walks up, he ignites you, you're dead. I mean, obviously this is like not optimal execution, but he's still going to punch you because he can. That was a giga dangerous creep to go for. He might be dead anyway. Although I don't know if the ogre has mangoes or anything. But like, taking all this damage is still a result of the play for going for that 1 CS. You have to remember that sometimes the 1 creep is not worth like the 400 damage you're going to take to get it, right? Because now how does our lane feel? We got a double wave coming. And we're like half HP. Doesn't feel that great. For some reason, they both left the lane, by the way. They're like 80% health. They're just not here contesting you. I have no idea what's going on. Like, none of these creeps should even be remotely hittable. The Centaur should be here with his freaking hooves just freaking stepping on your face. Some people would have to pay for that, but Centaur is going to do it for free.
No.
This is a situation where pulling it under is actually going to benefit you. If you don't pull it under, what happens is the Centaur is able to stand closer to the wave without being threatened by the tower, and then you just end up losing a bunch of range CS, right? Like, he's able to just sit there and not have to worry about ever getting hit by T1. If you pull them under, he's running the risk of tanking a tower shot, or he stays too long and you start getting free harass and things like that. So when you're against stronger offlane heroes, just pull the wave under your tower. A lot of the better players will try to contest you anyway, but it's still much safer than letting it sit where it was. I think if this Lich had ice armor, you theoretically could have killed him there, but I think he has gaze. Also, always prioritize the banner creep. Banner creep is worth the most. It's not even close. It's basically 3 creeps. It's the gold you get for the last hit, the gold that you get for the bonus banner, and it gives that gold to the Lich too. If there's a banner creep in the wave, that thing is literally worth the rest of the wave combined in terms of gold. So never ever throw away a banner creep to get any other creep. Always try to get the banner creep. Like, priority of creeps is banner is first, then ranged, then melee. In that order.
Mine.
So far, though, it's like we're kind of falling behind because of 2 things. Obviously, there's a huge base damage difference. The Lich can't really pull. He did some weird skill build. So we may have normally had some kind of kill pressure here. Like, there was a point where the Centaur was getting kind of low, and we could have theoretically gone on him and maybe gotten a kill. And we just really couldn't because he didn't have the right skills. So that's kind of unfortunate, not really on us. Got the Wraith Band. I don't mind finishing the Wraith Band, but we are probably going to need to get Shreds directly after. I believe the banner creep gives the same amount of EXP. It's just gold. I mean, this is a hard lane no matter what, right? Like, the way that you're going to win this lane is by being mechanically just far superior to your opponents. Like, that's simply how this lane is won. You have to be very good and comfortable with manipulating creep aggro, like toggling back and forth, making the creeps run around. You know, making them as uncomfortable as you can without putting yourself in positions where you're going to take a lot of needless damage.
Middle is missing.
I would say this is a tough lane, though, for sure. The problem that I can see happening is that your team might not be the best at creating space for your hero, which will also become an issue because your laning phase is not going that well. Is Wand worth finishing? Yeah, Wand's fine. Centaur has 2 spells. Ogre has 3 spells. I think 1's okay. The reason why it's nice on heroes like Spectre is because you're using your natural tankiness to theoretically bait them into going on a kill that can't happen, right? Like, this wand right here is paying dividends. You're actually just going to kill this guy, I think. Oh, no way. 1 hit. Okay, so a little, you didn't cancel your backswing. So, right here. There you cancel your auto. Unfortunate. But you see how long you, like, didn't move after? Hold on. That's because you didn't cancel your backswing. When you attack, you want to immediately click where you want to be running. It's like right here, right, we get to cancel. But when you actually swing, right now, you want to already be clicking up. You want to be clicking up to move. But your backswing lasted an eternity because you issued a single click. Yeah, right clicking. You issued a single click on the Centaur, and it just did the command, it autoed, and then there was no input after the fact, so your hero didn't move, you didn't reset your backswing, you just stood still. If you don't do that, he may die. Maybe. If you didn't cancel your auto and did that, he probably dies. So yeah. Mechanical issue. But still, if he goes out of the lane, you know, you're going to get a wave or 2 of farm, and that's still good. Still pretty good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, so right here, your Lich or you should be pulling. So at this point in time, if your Lich is not paying attention, like, you need to pull this camp to the lane, right? Because this wave is gonna die to the creeps. It's gonna take a while, but because there's a cart here, this cart's gonna live for a little while, and then this wave's gonna be up here. You don't really want that because you're playing under their own tier 1. This guy's got Ring of Health and tower armor now, so like harassing him and stuff is basically pointless. If your support's not paying attention, just always be looking at the clock and be like, yo, I gotta pull. If you don't get the pull here, it means that you're not going to get basically the next wave without being contested. The side timing pull. This camp right here, you can pull anywhere from, I think it's 24 to like 27. So when you hit it at 24, it's going to be like right here. And then 5, and then 6, and then 7 is like up here, right? Because the wave is going to be walking down the lane. For the camps that are slow, like let's say Satyr camps and Troll camps are the 2 slowest camps. Those ones you actually have to pull a little bit early. Because they take longer to get to where they're going. It also helps to like cut these 3 trees. Like this cactus, this tree right here, and this tree to the right, and that way you have like a bunch of vision that your creeps can connect to. But yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Middle is missing.
But that pull would basically mean that this wave right here that he's full denying on you would be down here, and you'd be farming the whole thing. So let's be generous and say you just lost like 200 gold because you didn't pull, right? Because you didn't get any of those CS. This guy's got 80 damage. You have 64. Pretty big difference.
First blood. I'm on fire.
But this is like a this is a rough one. We're probably dead here, I think. Unless this guy has ice armor, which apparently he does not. Wow, I can't believe there would be a player that would skip this ability. It's so insane. Even for a new player, I feel like you look at this and you're like, wow, that's good. Kind of crazy that he doesn't have it. Alright, so we just have to base here, right? Unless our courier has some like Giga regen. Yeah, it doesn't. After this wave, we should just go home. Just walk home and TP out. Because being here at this amount of HP, we can't really contest anything. We went for the other creep again. Yeah, I mean, he may be tilted, but his skill build is still really tough. I think this regen buying stuff would be fine if it happened, like, literally a minute ago. Like, the buying extra regen to occupy your lane is not a bad thought, but you have to do it well in advance of knowing you're going to take damage, right? Like, if you do it after you take damage, it's already too late. You need to send it out in anticipation of the event occurring and then have it immediately, right? Because, like, you spend, like, let's say 190, 200 gold. So let's say you're down 400 gold total, you missed a pull, you bought 2 items worth of regen, that puts you further in the hole. And you're still not really going to be able to contest this wave, right? Like, a lot of problems are arising because of, like, basic laning mechanic stuff. Like, the Lich not pulling, you not pulling, sending the regen late instead of having it on time, right? Because if you have it on time and you're full health right now, you feel a lot more confident walking up. But you know if the Ogre and the Centaur are next to each other and you're half HP, you could just be dead. So this is, like... It's a really hard situation for your hero specifically. Because your hero is not great at jungling. This is actually why... Oh, he's got Vanguard. Yeah, you can't even be here anymore. You're probably better off just walking to the jungle. Like, every time you hit this guy, it's going to be really bad for you. It's not the best. What you could do, potentially, is ask the other heroes on your team to switch lanes with you.
Middle is missing.
Like, you could ask the Tide to go bottom and, like, take top. And even though it's a Clinks, it might still be a more contestable lane in this one. But, like, every, like, moment we spend here past this point is just really rough. Because we don't know, like, how many CS we're going to be able to get. You know, are we going to get dove under our tier 1? Is the mid player going to rotate because it's an Ember Spirit, right? Yeah, I think what I would probably have done here is just ask the Tide to TP bottom and just swap lanes with him. That was a nice arrow. Guy might be dead. Nice.
Nothing to burn.
But yeah, you can see the CS isn't really going up, right? Like, CS isn't really going up because we're playing, like, a highly contested portion of the map. And even when we get kills, even if it's, like, a catharsis experience, you're just not really getting any economic value, you know? It feels worth it because your tower's alive and you got a kill, so you feel, like, validated in the choice, but the truth is you could have, like, double your CS if you were top. And having double the CS or more is way better than having one Centaur kill. Because this guy is going to come back to the lane, and it's going to turn right back into what it was before because one kill does not a lane win make. Right? Like, this guy is level 8 and he has a Vanguard. This guy is still, like, the unfuckable mountain. It took 4 of your heroes last time to kill this guy. Making the distinction that a guy is too tanky to actually kill and just, like, now that the Tide's here, I would just bail top. Like, looking at that lane is the right idea.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And what you can do is you can send out clarities. You've already got one of your TPs, which is good. But get some clarities going. You're going to want to start killing neutral camps anyway, especially because you guys don't have any yet, I don't think. Let me check. Yeah, you guys have no neutrals. So you're going to need somebody on your team to do it. It's either going to be the Lina, I guess, who's your mid player, the Tide, or you. And the Lina and the Tide are much better at holding lanes than you are, so it makes more sense for your hero to be the one that does it, even if your jungling isn't, like, super efficient.
Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing.
Like, you actually are pretty happy with this guy, like, shoving in. Wow, that guy is dust. Holy moly. The Clink shoving the wave into you is actually great, because that just means you get free farm. But, like, being up here for less than 2 minutes, you've already, like, gotten a 50% increase into your CS.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That tower looks to be a little dead. So the other thing that I'll mention about this game is that if you're ever playing a hero like Spectre, and you encounter this type of game where you have other lanes that are losing that aren't yours, it's going to be really difficult to come back. Like, really, really, really difficult. Because somebody is supposed to have a good game, right? The mid player, the safe lane player, the offlane player, somebody is supposed to have a good game. If nobody is having a good game, it is exponentially more difficult to feel comfortable making plays in the map. And that goes for anybody, right? Also, just another thing. I would probably always max dagger. I would probably always max dagger, especially in harder lanes, because that's going to be the ability that allows you to hit creeps until you have another item, right? If you don't have max dagger, your farming capabilities are very, very limited. And dagger is not a great farming spell on its own, but it's literally all you have, right? Like, you just don't have another option. You could probably TP here if you need to, but I don't think you need to. Wow, I can't believe that guy went for that. That guy's crazy. This game, like, obviously there's a lot to learn from the laning phase, but I'm just looking at the net worth and I'm like, anybody loses its game, you know, at this level. Like, your lanes are just a disaster. They basically have to make a lot of mistakes.
It's under attack.
They have to make a lot of mistakes for you to utilize, and everyone has to be in the right place at the right time to kill those heroes that are making the mistakes, and, like, that's how you would turn a game like this. Mostly curious about the laning phase. I mean, I can finish the game if you want. It's not a big deal. But the big thing to learn for sure is, like, let me show you in a demo, actually, really quick.
Bounty.
Let me show you in a demo, because this is something that, like, understanding and seeing it are very helpful. So let me show you this, because there's a thought process behind laning mechanics that is kind of innate to a lot of higher level players, and if you don't do it or you're not used to it, you are not able to react, right? It's like, let's say right here, right? Let's say this guy is like the centaur. If I click this and just walk backwards, now I went out of vision there because I walked up a hill, but the creep aggro going to my range creep is going to fuck with him, right? It's going to change the targeting of all the creeps, and it's going to make it so that this creep in the back is taking damage, right? And if I hit that creep a few times and it's below 50 and he has to move in a place where he doesn't want to move, like, that's how you create chaos in the lane. Like, that's the main thing. Like, you want to hit the creep like that, like, click him, and then you walk around, right? And then when you get out of range, the creeps are going to start naturally hitting this guy. And that's what you want in the lane. Because when that guy dies, the lane doesn't push as hard. And when the lane's not pushing as hard, you can contest more waves back to back. You see what I mean? Like, if you're not doing this consistently, like, you want to be doing it all the time. Especially in lanes where you don't have, like, the base damage advantage that you would normally have. So that trick, just click and then run away. That's it, you know? And walk to your range creep. Well, it's going to take some practice, but it's something that you literally need to learn, especially as a safe laner. Like, mid and safe lane probably use this mechanic more than anybody else, because it makes it so that the enemy actually has to think about what you're going to click, when you're going to click it, how you're going to move the creeps. Like, it adds layers of technique to the lane that if they don't know how to deal with it, they're going to lose the lane, you know? Like, they're going to lose the lane. As far as the defusal thing goes, when I'm behind on a hero like Spectre, I don't think that there's ever really a singular item that's going to get me back into the game, you know? Like, let's say I'm playing Axe or whatever. A Blink Dagger is a huge, impactful item that I can buy for a relatively cheap cost. It's going to give me plays that I can make. In that game, against 3 heroes who are like 6k net worth, minute 14 or 13 or whatever it was, and the rest of our lanes also having gone quite bad, buying a fighting item seems sort of counterintuitive, right? Because they're already very far ahead. So the way that I want to play the game is not necessarily look for the fights, but buy, like, you know, a Yasha, part of my Manta, maybe buy a Midas or something. Start side laning as best I can, right? And wait for opportunities to go in. Because I'll tell you this. People throw fucking all the time. All the time. All the time. I mean, hell, I threw the last game I just played, right? Died under 2 wards that I didn't know were there. Shit happens. That's going to happen a lot at the lower MMRs. So when you have an economic item, a Yasha, something that allows you to farm more efficiently, and you just avoid the fights better and side lane better, what will happen is your farm will naturally just be higher than your opponents, and when they make the mistakes, you'll just have more stuff to fight them with, right? That being said, it is entirely possible that at that level of play that a Diffusal Blade could potentially turn fights and kill heroes. I'm not going to lie to you, that could happen. But I don't think it's like a good mentality to approach a game to say, yeah, I'm going to buy this Diffusal and hope that the team that's like 7k net worth ahead of us at 15 minutes is going to make a mistake, right? Like, I feel like that mentality is a bit more rough. If you're just playing side lanes, being efficient, having more farming items, and forcing them to TP and then taking fights with Haunt and stuff, you can do the same thing with a farming item that you can a Diffusal. Like, the effect is pretty similar. So, I don't think personally, if I was in that situation, I would go Diffu. I think it's more likely that I would try to play side lanes way more. Because if I buy a Diffu and I walk to one fight and I die, guess what? Game's over. Game's fucking over. Because you're already behind. You're walking into a strong team. You bought one item that doesn't really accelerate you. You die. what do you do after that, right? Like, what's your plan B? You got nothing. So yeah. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you live and you learn, right? Like, you're not always going to make, like, the best itemization call. You're not always going to make the best decisions, you know? Like, I walked under that word on the Spire, and I was blown away that there was a word there. Like, in 10,000 games, I would have never expected that hill specifically to be worded, because it makes no fucking sense for there to be a word there. But it killed me, right? Lost us a crucial team fight. But yeah, shit like that happens all the time. Yeah, Yasha's a really solid item for sure. Did you have any other questions or whatever about the game? Want to make sure you feel like you got your money's worth, you know? Okay, laning was your largest concern? Okay. Yeah, the lane losing thing is something that you're going to encounter a lot. Like, if you want to play one, you just have to accept that most of the time you're going to get fucking bullied, man. People are going to come to lane, and they're going to be Tanner from high school, you know? It's just going to be annoying. It's going to be frustrating, and you're just going to have to learn how to manipulate the creeps to a degree where you're able to get CS in lanes that should be hard, right? Like, that's just the way that that lane works. You're walking to a lane understanding that your hero is, like, 9 games out of 10 going to be weaker than what you're walking to lane against, unless for some reason you have last pick and you get to counter pick the lane. Then the game changes a lot for you. But if that's not happening, you're walking to the lane and you're like, don't hit me. Stop. But yeah, that's the TLDR. All right, so I think that's it, right? I don't think I forgot anything. Nothing else to add. Yeah, dagger is your farming tool. Dagger is your farming tool. There are other builds that you can go, but they usually are based on when the lane is not getting stomped, you know? When you're getting stomped, you need the dagger to hit creeps. That's it. All right, that is, I believe everything. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, cool.